Hello and good day, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dr. Edward Padama. And as you remember, we were discussing about the different parts of Chapter 3, kung paano isulat yung iba't ibang bahagi nito. So, if you want to go and check our previous discussions, I have these videos in my YouTube channel at Doc Ed Padama. But this time, we are already in this part, data gathering procedure. So again, as I mentioned in the previous video, sabi natin, Chapter 3 is one of the lightest and easiest way of writing, easiest part in writing your research. So, bakit po nasabi natin ito? Dahil ang gagawin nyo lang po dito sa Chapter 3 is, number 1, you're going to present by narrating the different processes and procedures na ginawa ninyo dito sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Chapter 3. So specifically in this case, papaano ginawa itong tinatawag nating data gathering? Papaano yung procedure niya? Kailan, saan magsisimula yung pagnanarrate, pagpe-present, pagkukwento nitong data gathering procedure na ito. So ito ang i-discuss natin, ito yung ipipresent ko sa inyo. I'm going to start with the different tips and advices that you can use sa pagsusulat para ma-organize ninyo, and then eventually later on, sa baba nitong document, meron tayong sample document that we can use in order to see the implementation of these tips na i-discuss natin. So let's start with the first one. The first one states that you have to narrate, as we've mentioned earlier, the data gathering process after the instrument has been created and approved. So this is the part where sabi natin saan ba dapat magsimula yung presentation and narration of the data gathering procedure, where this should start after the instrument has been created and approved, and kasama na dyan yung validation. So this is the start of the discussion ng tinatawag natin data gathering procedure. After that, what happened? Doon magsisimula yung discussion. So number 2, discuss the various stages. Ano yung unang stage na ginawa ninyo after the instrument has been approved? What were the procedures that you followed? And then, what were included in the data gathering procedure? So, example of this is, nag-secure ba kayo ng permit bago kayo mag-distribute ng instrument? Sino yung nilapitan ninyo? Anong department, anong position? And then discuss how did you go through the process of applying for a permit to gather data in that particular institution. So in relation with research ethical standards, every time you distribute an instrument, every time you conduct an interview, you have to ask permission from the institution to the administrator, whether dean or principal, depending on the level kung saan nyo ginagawa yung research ninyo, ask permission and secure a permit para hindi magkaroon ng technicality yung research na ginagawa ninyo. Okay? So, all of this will just be narrated. Ikukwento nyo lang ano-ano yung mga procedures na pinagdaanan ninyo, ginawa ninyo in sequence and in order. And then the third one, include the limitations. What were not included in the process because of or due to the situation. Specifically, yung situation natin ngayon, during the new normal of learning, dati itong ginagawa natin, ngayon ito na yung bago, dati face-to-face, ngayon kailangan online, and then because hindi pa pwedeng face-to-face, ano yung mga hindi natin nagawa o hindi natin pwedeng gawin because of this particular situation, which will fall under doon sa limitation ng discussion natin. Isasama natin yun sa discussion so that the panel will be informed of the situation that happened during this particular part of your research. Again, include limitations encountered during the data gathering process. And the last one is discuss the distribution. So, nakasecure na kayo ng permit. Ito na, present nyo na yung mga limitations, yung mga hindi na isama. Dito na sa part na ito, discuss ninyo papaano nyo ipinamigay, papaano nyo dinistribute, sino yung mga pinagbigyan ninyo ng mga instrument ninyo, and what were the processes that you went through the distribution. If this is online, ikwento ninyo papaano nyo ginawa, papaano nyo dinistribute. And then, after that, the counterpart of the distribution is the recovery process. How long did it take before you recovered the instrument? Were you able to recover everything? And kung ano pa yung details na included doon sa distribution and recovery of the instrument. So basically, these are the 4 tips that I can give you when writing your data gathering procedure for chapter 3. Do not overthink, do not make it complicated. You can write this part of your research in 1 to 2 paragraphs. 1 to 2 paragraphs would be enough, minimum, okay? Minimum number of paragraphs for you to be able to present this part of your research. So if you want to go beyond 2 paragraphs, again, my advice is do not complicate the discussion. Go direct to the point. And these are the points that you should cover in your discussion. Okay, let's go to the sample. So this is a sample of the data gathering procedure divided into 2 paragraphs. So as you can see, upon the approval of the instrument, which I mentioned earlier, sabi ko kanina, you start the discussion after the instrument has been approved, validated, and is already prepared to be used and to be distributed. So anong ginawa after that part? The researcher will formally write a letter to the superintendent of the school through the respective school heads. So the channels were presented through the superintendent of the school and the school head. So this particular institution has different branches. So in Luzon, namely, those particular school branches. So the hierarchy of the application ng permit to allow you to to distribute the instrument is presented here in this discussion. So after that, their consent to conduct the study. So the researcher was securing for the consent to conduct the study, and the request to get the email address of the respondents to facilitate the research instrument, and interviews via Google Forms. So aside from the instrument being distributed through Google Forms and Google Meet, I'm assuming that they will use this for interview. Okay, Google Forms is for the distribution of the instrument. So again, make sure that you include all of the details that is included in the procedure of distribution and retrieval of your instrument. And then on the second paragraph, ito na yung merong limitation due to the current health crisis brought about by the pandemic. So what were the hindrances, the barriers? What were the factors and the elements that were not included in this particular procedure? So sabi niya dito, the researcher may not be allowed to go to these schools face to face personally and would opt to send formal letters via the school's official email address. So instead of handing the letter personally, through email na lang. And then once the request has been granted, online survey questionnaires. So this is what I was discussing earlier. Google Form will be used to distribute the instrument. Will be administered to the entire full-time, part-time faculty, administrator of the 3 schools. To validate the responses from the instrument, this is where the other medium, which is Google Meet, comes in. To validate the responses from the instrument, the researcher will also conduct a structured interview. Dito na yan, papasok. Via Google Meet. Okay? So again, as you can see, Google Form was used for the distribution of the instrument, Google Meet was used for the interview para doon sa validation ng instrument. Okay, so everything is in place, everything is sound, and everything is simple within two paragraphs. This was able to the researcher was able to present the pertinent information related doon sa procedure ng pag-gather niya ng data. So this is as simple as it can get. So going back to our tips and advices, you simplify, you follow, you organize, so that it would be easy not only on the eyes but also easy to understand and comprehend, and quickly, immediately go to the next chapter without any hitches or hindrances on this particular part of your research. So again, thank you very much, and please do subscribe to my YouTube channel at Doc Ed Padama. You are going to see my icon on the lower right side of your screen, and then suggested videos on the left side of your screen related to research. So I'm sure that these videos would be able to help you in the other parts or in other parts of your research writing. Maraming pong salamat sa inyong lahat. Stay safe and God bless everyone. See you on the next video. Goodbye!